Thanks, Seth. All right, welcome. It is, I'm looking at the minutes. That would be wrong. It is Tuesday, January 20th, 2026. This is the Scituate Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee meeting. On March 28th, 2025, Governor Healy signed into law an act extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency. This legislation will permit state and local public bodies to conduct public meetings in a hybrid or remote format through June 2027. This meeting will be recorded by Scituate Community Television and can be viewed at a later date on the SCTV YouTube channel. I will read our commitment statement. This is a safe, secure space for all people, especially people of color, and for all underrepresented people and communities. This is a space where people can bring up challenges and questions without fear. We will assume best intentions and we will treat one another with politeness and respect at all times. This committee is dedicated to these standards. We want our members and others joining our meetings to feel welcomed and respected. Thank you. So I would like to, with that said, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Can I get a second?
I second.
Thank you. All right, calling the roll. Reverend Stewart.
Sorry, yes.
I see the nod. Mr. Adler.
Aye.
Ms. Dre.
Yes.
Ms. Sun.
Yes.
And Ms. Galata.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, Shannon is not feeling well, so she is not going to make it. It's been a few months, and then we tried to fit it in December, but the holidays conspired against us. Let's see. I believe in the last, I should have resent them. I did not. Carrie, you did the meetings last time around, right? Okay. And she did send them. I believe I sent them around, but it was probably a month ago. I did have a chance to go through them. It reminded me of all the things that I raised my hand for and didn't do. I don't have any edits. Does anyone else have any commentary on the Tuesday, November 19th, 2025 minutes? Okay, so I will move to have them approved, calling the roll. Reverend Stewart.
Yes.
Mr. Adler.
Approved.
Ms. Dre.
Yes.
Ms. Sun.
Yes.
Ms. Galata.
Yes.
And I am a yes. Okay, so those are approved. Thank you. So it was a good refresher course for me. I just went through them a little while ago, so there's plenty to discuss just based on that. The last meeting, who did we have? I think we had pretty much everybody.
I know I missed the last two, I think, or they were canceled because there wasn't a quorum.
Yeah, no, that's okay. No, I think we had a pretty good showing. So that was if we all recall, I mean, that was the meeting where we invited Maria, and she was Maria Fenwick from the school committee, and she was very, very gracious with her time. And we actually, I think that meeting was probably closer to 90 minutes or so. She's on the distribution list now. I know she was going to talk to the rest of the school committee to see if they can get more regular attendance. Carrie Borkowski was originally assigned to be our school liaison. She had actually been on our distribution list back when we had Jamil. And I think she just said, okay, I don't really need to attend. Jamil's kind of, going to handle the school updates and so forth. But so, I mean, I think that is something that we probably need to get a handle on. I guess Angela, not to put you on the spot, but we did, actually, I think both Angela and Shannon both raised their hand to be on the search committee for the new role. I'm not going to call it a DEI director because that's not what it's going to be called. Angela, do you have any updates on that?
Yeah, I do. Actually, I did get an email that Dr. Rad was not able to attend our meeting tonight. But he told
Okay.
me I could share what, was discussed at the meeting and what the outcome was. And actually, there was a letter sent out at 3 o'clock today from the school giving the update on the director of social support, engagement, and advocacy, SEA. I really enjoyed being on the committee. The committee consisted of students, faculty, administration, school committee members, MECO parents, MECO director. So we participated in the entire interview process. We all got to rank the candidates directly. And from there, they had 5 interviews. All the candidates were very well qualified. It was just looking for the right fit for Scituate and getting everyone's feedback in the process. So they have a finalist. She will actually be in Scituate on Friday. Dr. Reb has some hours, office hours scheduled. That's in the letter that was sent out to the families, and you can come and meet her. She was one of my top choices. It was 2 finalists. Every time there was an interview, it was like, oh, this person's even more awesome than the last person. So it was a nice experience to get different, folks' feedback. Every candidate was asked the same questions, so you let them respond. Some of you may have done this already. It was the first time that I, did a interview by committee, if you will. So it was interesting afterwards when we could all discuss what we thought about each candidate, and interesting from the different perspectives as far as what the students liked, what they heard, versus what a parent might have been, listening for, or just their personalities that, that come out in an interview. All the candidates on paper looked great, resumes, but you have to interview someone to really get a sense if you think they're, the right fit. So Melissa Costa is her name. And like I said, she will be in Scituate at the high school, and I think she's going to try to meet all the faculty, students, community members. If they want to, they can go into Dr. Rab's office hours to meet her.
How many people were on the committee?
Like 17.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, all the candidates were aware. It was, in person. One candidate was out of state, so she was actually Zoom. But they all handled it pretty well because, they were.
Did you just like sit them in the middle and just like throw paper airplanes at them? Or I mean, like,
Yeah, they were at the head of the table, and there was 17 people just,
wow.
Yeah, which.
Oh my goodness.
It was really good, and the questions, like when the committee met, they narrowed it down to 10 questions, and then one new question popped up as the interview process played out, and then every candidate was asked that additional question as well. Yeah, but I was impressed. I thought the whole hiring and review committee, Taisha, who's the HR director for the Scituate Public Schools, she did a great job, explaining to everyone what the our role was and how, so she was the facilitator. So, it was, managed well, with that many people.
Where is she from? I assume
the candidate, the finalist, she's from New Bedford, and she
Okay.
has a very strong mental health background. And I know, those of us that, spoke up about this position, how is it different from the director that we had in a similar position, which, it is different. And one of the things they were looking for was someone to help on that social emotional learning. So she has a very strong, impressive background in the mental health field. She started off as a school counselor. So she does have that empathy, that personality. Everyone's like, oh, this is someone we could work with and we could see, fit in the Scituate community. She did a lot of research, which I liked. She
Yeah.
looked up Scituate. She looked up things that she thought were wonderful, and she was interested about like the lit program. So when she said that, of course, I took my notes like, hey, she's learning about Scituate and what we've done, and she had a lot of questions as far as what they see for this position, and how it's going to fit in, and I was impressed by her. I think she would be a great fit.
That's so good to hear. Thanks for those updates, Angela. I know I got the notification from the school this afternoon and I was like so pleasantly surprised at how fast that seemed to go. Like that you all interviewed that many people and already have a finalist and all of these things have happened. So that was really encouraging. I was very pleasantly surprised to see that
And a
message.
lot of questions, yeah, a lot of questions as far as what the expectation is, measurable tools. How do you know that this position is successful?
Yeah.
I think some of those questions came from, the feedback that we gave to the school committee, So I think they really took that to heart and really wanted to make sure those things were addressed and, in searching for this to fill this director position.
Do you know, are they trying to oh Tom, I just forwarded it an email to everyone.
Thank you.
I read your
I'm
mind.
so out of the loop. I mean,
I
it's
wasn't sure who like
six,
yeah.
16 years of getting all the, school stuff and like no more kids in public schools. So I just, yeah, I used to get all that stuff, obviously.
Do they know like would the goal be to like have her start this school year?
I think that was the goal.
Yeah. Great.
I'm really shocked. I thought you were gonna say, well, we're moving slow. I just expected that. I mean, I don't know.
No, I
So
think there was I want to say seven. I can't remember the total number of applicants, but narrowing it down to 6 or 7 was huge.
yeah,
And again, it was just, there's the spreadsheet and you just fill out the boxes, this is do they have the masters? Do they have this? All those, requirements first. And if not, then you move on to the next one. So to have, 6 really qualified candidates was, impressive. And then just, wanting to get to the top 2, top 1.
that's great. Okay.
Yeah, and I did tell her when we were doing it, we could ask questions how because I think one of the questions was what is the the appetite for a position like this in the community. I think everyone on the committee was very honest about there's a lot of support but with anything there may be some folks that might need to understand it more or just have questions and but there's a lot of community support for our schools and our faculty and, doing what's best for the students. So she had some great questions. And I think, like I said, I think if you meet her, you'd come away with the same feeling that I think she would be a good fit for Scituate.
Yeah, I mean, so what is the actual title?
It is the Director of Support, Engagement, and Advocacy.
And was that title already decided prior to the formation of the committee?
I don't remember. I don't recall. I missed the first meeting and had I know, I don't know, Tom. I
Okay.
can't remember if when we got the invite, if that was already part of the
Yeah, I mean, I just asked because, I go back to, like you mentioned, the appetite for the position in the community, and there's a lot of support, but there's also, those people kind of lurking around that don't support it at all. And granted, DEI, the DEI acronym itself, right? And, I mean, I think I mentioned in, I think probably after the Jamil situation and him being let go. And I don't know if others had this same thing kind of happened to them. It wasn't a huge thing, but I mean, I was confronted more than once in the community uh, for not even really so much our committee, but more the Jamil's position. And because it is, school employees, their salaries get published and all that type of stuff. And there's people in the community that were frankly pissed off with how much money was being paid in the town of Scituate to the director of DEI within the schools. So,
I think a lot of that is education, right? So
yeah.
if there's an acronym that has a negative, political, agenda, people
Yeah.
are going to be negative towards that. But understanding what that person's role is important, and how that role, was, helping the students and supporting the faculty. So I think a lot of it is just educating the community to understand, why a person is in this role and what they're, what they're doing. And I think that's out there in the job description, so if they question that, they should read the job description, and there's something specific about that job description that they feel shouldn't be in the Situate Public Schools, then, they have a right to, ask about that.
Agreed. Well, thanks again. Anyone have any other questions for Angela, or does anyone have any other updates? Let's just tackle the schools right now that needs to be shared.
I had a quick random kind of question. I feel like Jamil used to do a lot of planning for MLK celebrations in the past. That was part of his scope. So I'm just curious of parents of school-aged children. Was there any celebrations this weekend? No. Okay.
I was curious about that too. Yeah.
Well, I guess, if we have that school committee liaison, Tom, I think that that's like an early gap that we've already observed potentially that they could help identify like how they, or this position, but I don't know if this position that would be their response. Maybe that's an open question.
I don't know. I mean, like the two things that I didn't attend them all, but Angela probably did because the ones that I had attended, she was always there. But it was the MLK and it was the Juneteenth.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely, that void,
No doubt.
there's parents and, faculty involved in, the lit programs, I think within the school, the classrooms and schools, I think that's continuing. But, Jamil did that overall, projects that brought everybody together. And there isn't anyone doing that at this time.
Well, hadn't Maria actually made that specific point? I mean, I think she had even used MLK celebration as an example of an activity that they thought the school committee thought it should be more a community-based, community-based driven rather than, an employee of the school department. I don't know if I'm remembering that incorrectly, but I thought the MLK celebration was actually a specific example she used. So.
Yeah, I think that's right, Bob. And I think the other point was that that was like outside of school hours. And so they wanted something that would be done during school hours,
Right.
which is great. But to my knowledge, I have a kindergartner and a first grader, and I asked them if they learned about Martin Luther King in school, and they said no. So we learned about him at home. But
Not at all, like not even in the classrooms.
they have before, but like this year, I was like, "Did you guys talk about Martin Luther King?" And they said no. I mean, they're 5 and 7. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they did, and they're just not telling me. But and that's just one N of two. But it sounds like it wasn't like a school wide thing for sure. So maybe it was up to individual teachers, or I really don't know. But I should know. That's it. I mean, we should know what they're teaching. So like I said, I mean, we just talk about it at home and we teach at home and we read books at home, but like they should be talking about it in school. It's history,
I'm wondering if, like, is there a logical group that would take on Juneteenth just because that's the next one coming up?
I feel like at the very least we should maybe ask Maria if she knows like what the school curriculum is around Juneteenth, and if there isn't something set, then yeah, I think that should be a
But
focus.
I kind of feel like it should be a school. I mean, it doesn't have to be on Monday, like yesterday. It could be on Friday or Tuesday or any day of the week. Like, just speaking very frankly, like I'm not worried about my husband and I spending time celebrating. Like, I want the children to learn and understand. Like, so I think that that should be a school-driven initiative, not a town community-based initiative. Personally, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
and this year they'll be out of school before Juneteenth because unless we have
Oh, will they?
we may. Yes, because we started early this year, so we'll be out before Juneteenth. Um, but I agree with you, Elena. It doesn't mean that they can't learn about it at school before they get out for the end of the year. Especially in, my daughter's a senior this year, so in all of her years of school, the last week has never really been very educational. Um, so I think there's plenty of room in there to do something about Juneteenth in a fun, celebratory sort of way that that wouldn't take away from other learning opportunities. Yeah, yeah, and I wonder just in the community sense, like who takes these things on, right? Who takes on MLK and Juneteenth? There's not sort of a logical other organization in our community already that would take on coordinating and leading that. So I'm not really sure where we go with that, but I'm just putting that out there.
last year, the sister city Cape Verde provided food, and we partnered with the Lit and Jamil's group to provide food for the event, which we were surprised that we brought American sandwiches. And we had a lot of Cape Verdean food, and all those little kids wanted the Cape Verdean food. So I was very impressed that they were, willing to try, international food. So that was fun. And that was something that, the Sister City Committee, was happy to, collaborate with the school on, and that's something that I can talk to the other Sister City committees, and see if that's something that, along with the schools, we would be happy to do something like that for the community.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really pin something like this on Metco, can you?
Well, I don't
mean,
even know if it's pinning on it,
I
do
don't know
their
if that's the right
students want to
term,
see
but
it, and should they see it? Yes.
I mean,
But
they were always involved with the Juneteenth,
right,
and
yeah, it's just I think one of the key takeaways that I saw during participating in the committee is, hopefully this person is going to oversee a lot of things. There's a lot of good things going on, within the different schools, and so someone like overseeing, like, okay, this is approach that Wampatuck does, or Heatherly has this program. How can we, unite everything and have some consistency and some, um, you know, across the board, positive things for all the kids. And one of the strong skill set that this woman had was organizing. She said she loves a whiteboard. She loves, data and collecting, information. So hopefully she'll be able to do that for the, obviously the support that the kids need. One of the big piece of it was someone to oversee all the guidance positions in all the schools. I think that's maybe a little different from the previous position that Jamil had. So and people were honest also saying that, this is a new position. So, some of it may be, may evolve as, time goes on.
yeah, I mean, it's not a one-to-one replacement, right? It just isn't. And Jamil is, and I'm sure he still is. I mean, he's a force of nature, right? I mean, he's unlike anyone I've ever really met. Just boundless energy and trained moderator to be able to run, like the lit events at the library and so forth. And I think, like you said, and I think Maria said it, the lit stuff at the schools will continue. Will the the town-wide invites for some of the lit events that took place at the library, will those continue? Likely not. So,
I know that we at St. Luke's discussed doing something for MLK Day. We didn't sort of realize that nothing was being done until it was too late to pull anything together in a real way this year. But we've had some just very brief conversations about trying to do something for next year. So we we may we may do that. No commitment yet, but conversations have been had. So.
so Natasha, continuing with you, keeping you on the spot. Um, what's the latest in your world regarding the Scituate Unity Network? Is that still going? I mean, I know there's a lot of different things going on around town with, and I know it's very political. Um, there's a lot of standouts right now. Scituate Indivisible is they're crushing it. I'll be honest. I mean, like they're doing a good job.
Yeah, I
There was
feel
quite
like
a standout yesterday. I was impressed.
yeah. Yeah, I feel like Scituate Indivisible has really stepped up significantly, and that kind of came out of the Scituate Unity Network, and they've been just doing so much wonderful work, and so many of the people from all of those groups are supporting that's kind of where that energy has gone, and I think that's been a natural um, evolution of that in a good way. So I haven't really checked in more formally, but that's sort of been my perspective of what's going on there. Um, and I know that the Scituate Freedom Team, which I also sit on, is continuing to meet. And I'm actually meeting with a couple of people tomorrow to talk more about sort of my role. Mine's sort of a more of a sort of advisory slash when you need me, give me a call role than a monthly meeting role. Mostly because the time they have their meeting just absolutely doesn't work for me with my kid getting my kids to school. It's like smack at drop off time. But I'm always available should something happen to be that pastoral presence or to help coordinate that presence however needed. So I'm meeting with them tomorrow, but they are hoping to continue to keep going and continue the work that they've been doing. It might look a little different, but they are also, I know they're trying to pull in Dina Dre more as the school liaison to that, because obviously Jamil had all that information for us before, and that's an important link. So Dina's meeting with us tomorrow as well. So it's kind of where we are on both of those things for now. And we definitely, I know at St. Luke's, we just have our eyes and ears open to like, where are the holes now and what more can we do to be supportive without for us, um, it's hard for us to sort of advertise political things because we're a church. But advocating for the oppressed and the underserved are definitely things that we can do. So we're kind of keeping our church lens for that. But it's the same kind of work. It's just some different language used around it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, over to you, Bob. Townwide, anything that you can share?
Tom, I mean, there's nothing that comes to mind. I think that's, anything that we're actively working on that's, I think, relevant to our conversation. So, yeah, not really.
Okay. I did meet, we didn't, our last meeting, a lot of it was taken up rightfully so with Maria and, talking about the new role and so forth. Um, Towards the tail end of the meeting, uh, we did talk, we started talking just about communication again. And, Maria, getting the word out there. It doesn't matter how long we've been doing this. There's still a lot of people in town that, they're not aware as to our work and, what we can do and what we can't do and all that stuff. Shannon and I did meet it was a rushed meeting right before Thanksgiving. We said we were going to meet again. We haven't. Um, I will be reaching back out. I was going to bring it up to her tonight. She's sick. She and I we'll meet again. She's got some good ideas. She's got some good background with regards to, communications. I'm not going to call it PR, but website stuff and so on. So more to come on that. Um, what else do we got? Other ideas, thoughts, anything? Is this going to be the shortest meeting in our history? Um, I'm open to ideas. Sorry, I'm just going through my notes. I mean, the thing that it's been on my plate for a while, and Bob, you and I have talked about it a little bit. That's what Shannon and I were talking about is, um, continuing to building out our space on the town website and do more of a landing page. So what I'll say to that is, and I've got some idea. If you've sent me ideas in the past, I still have them. They're in a specific folder in my Outlook. If people have other ideas, um, for what they think could go up on the site, uh, email Shannon and myself. Because I think the next time I meet with her, I'll just share my screen with her and we can literally just go through and just start doing things and putting stuff out there. Um, I know we've talked in the past about, Facebook and all this other type of stuff. I I don't even know where we landed on that. Distribution list, all that type of stuff, but it's getting the word out there that we've talked in the past about QR codes, flyers in town, all that type of stuff. That stuff costs money. Um, I don't know. I'm open to whatever.
I think social media is a good idea.
Elaborate, please.
I think it's easy. I mean, it's obviously money dependent because it costs money. But it's probably not a lot of money.
What
And
what platform though? You talking Twitter, Facebook? What are we talking?
um, I mean, I'd avoid Twitter personally. Um, but in the Facebook Meta, like any Meta products, the Threads, Facebook, Instagram, really probably just those three. And then you can sort of target it down into the local area. So Scituate, and then if you wanted to do the surrounding towns as well. And you can also sort of do separate postings for different age groups. I'm no PR expert, and marketing is not my forte. But from my understanding, it's relatively simple to target your ads. And it's not necessarily targeting an ad saying a specific thing. It's just saying, hey, we exist. Find us on X website.
Okay.
We'd want to have clear objectives. Like what is our goal? Because I agree conceptually we should get our name out there. Like fully agree. But it almost feels like we need some more concrete goals. Like what are we trying to achieve? Do we want people to come to our meetings? Do we want people to give us ideas? Like what's the call to action? Telling people we exist is great so they know about us, but like what more?
I think it would be a good idea to do one ad and just say, why don't you join a meeting? And then go from there. Because like they may have ideas that we don't have, that we're not thinking of. Maybe they have issues that need to be resolved, or they find something that should be fixed that we're not thinking of. Yeah, I mean, I do agree. A call to action is a really good idea, but it's first we have to let people know we exist. Um, I mean, that's my thought. if you feel differently, and anyone feel free to jump in. Curious. I just want to see how much ads are. How much.
But back to the point of just trying to get people to attend the committee or the meeting is, I mean, I go back to when we first started and we were really like, trying to find our way, and we had a number of open meetings. We actually had pretty good representation from the community. I think there was a lot of people were sort of brought in, and it was, and I just, again, I think I found it really helpful because I feel like some of the things that were thrown out there were things that were not necessarily on our radar. And I just like one of the things that we had done was that we really looked at how the town is doing, the bathrooms and just doing, gender neutral bathrooms. And that idea was just brought up by a student from the high school. And as soon as she said it, it was all of us, it was just clicked. It was like, yeah, that's something, it's low hanging fruit, something we can do relatively easily. And it made a ton of sense and it was very welcoming. And she articulated really well why that could be an issue for someone and something that it was an argument that, we may not have heard otherwise. So, again, back to, I love the idea of just maybe getting some more involvement, putting ourselves out there to the community and getting ideas on like what do other people have? What ideas do other people have in terms of what we can do? And some of the ideas we did get a lot of ideas, and some of them were just like not tenable,
Yeah.
but some were great. So I second that idea of just trying to get more people involved in what we're doing.
I'm assuming we don't have a budget. Oh, sorry. Go, Natasha. I
No, we
apologize.
don't. But
Okay.
We go to
yeah.
Natasha when we need money, and she like
I
sells stickers and stuff.
know. Well, I was just thinking, to Carrie's point, like a call to action and then listening to Bob, like maybe our call to action is we host a meeting like at the library or something and people can come and it's just like a one-off kind of thing, right? It's not like every month, but like if you have ideas or things you want to talk to us about, especially as we're getting more back like in-person things, and it can be more of a conversation that way. It's sometimes it's awkward on Zoom, especially if you know it's going to go up on the town like TV
Mhm.
site and all that, right? Like, but you would come in person and say something, so that might be something we could think of.
I
Uh,
think how do we get people to become aware of it though?
right. So
Like
I mean,
whether
that
it's
would be
on
the
Zoom
social.
or it's in
That's
the
that
library.
social media
Yeah,
post.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we do ads sometimes for the church, not very often, but they're like $10. It's not like
Yeah, I was
it's
gonna say if
not.
we don't have a budget, like I don't know
Yeah,
if we're allowed to donate, but
yeah.
I'll contribute I honestly don't think it's a lot of money, so I'll do the first ad if anybody wants to come up with what it should say or what we want to do. But I do think it's a good way. I think Facebook, hold on, I want to make sure I say this correctly. Different social media apps are going to be should be targeted at different people. Kids in high school are using different social media than the older generations or my generation. So having them come in and target them and saying this exists and say, okay, what do you think we should do? We should bring in as many people as possible, to kind of get a very, very diverse thought process on what people need, what people want, and so on and so forth.
Does anyone in this group feel comfortable like facilitating that discussion? Because that's the only hesitation I have. And we talked about this at the library meeting. Elena was like, Jamil hosted the lit conversations at the library, which were a great community event. But like he was trained to like navigate conversations. And I'm just thinking if we blast this out and we get a lot of people show up, like, we want diversity of opinions and we want to also be able to like handle that in the right way. So it would not be me to be doing that. I don't have that training. So I don't know if anyone in this group would feel that they could.
I was going to nominate Reverend Natasha, but I don't know if she wants to.
I second that.
But I mean, Carrie brings up a great point, and like, regardless if one of us is trained or not, I think that's also maybe setting expectations for what this sort of session could be, right? It's like it also could give us the opportunity to like, what's our charge? Like,
Yeah.
we can't solve everyone's problems, and
But
we
we
could
can
say
listen
that.
to everyone's problems.
We can listen. No, right, but kind of exactly,
That's
right?
Yeah.
And somewhat under promise maybe, like also, but it's just an opportunity to give, it's an ideation, feedback, not, yeah, not necessarily like come air your grief. I don't know, I think we
Yeah.
can wordsmith that in a
Yeah.
way which maybe to help like facilitating that type of discussion. Like I mean, just in like corporate world, like I do that every day for a large team. So and people are very unhappy all the time at my job. So it's like, but yeah, Carrie, I hear you. Like if people are coming with very specific, I would not. But maybe if we try to make gear that's not the session.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really important how we frame it and how we message it, right?
Right.
And it like it's not a reason to come and talk about should DEI committee exist. It's like DEI committee exists. We're working on things. Help us give input for what you want us to focus on. It should be the
You
message.
just did
However,
it. You just did it.
Yeah.
That's the ad.
Fantastic.
That's
That's the
it.
motto.
there we go.
Yeah,
That
it's the
is it.
message you put out for the invite, as well as, which I feel very comfortable doing, standing in front of a group of people and telling them the parameters for which we're having this conversation.
She does it every Sunday.
That's what I do. So yeah, and setting those expectations up front so that it's very clear that we're not here to have some big debate. We're here to hear what the ideas are. Like Bob's example is great. Like, what should we look at the bathrooms? What else should we look at, right? And what should we be thinking about in all kinds of ways in our community? So yeah, just setting those expectations up front. And so maybe I always find it's nice if you tag team that. So maybe Elena and I both stand up and do it together with our skills and kind of keep it under control. And there's lots of different formats we can do that in that we can discuss what we think will work best in this
Yeah.
context.
Yeah, happy to. Tom can be our security. So we got
Or Tom and Bob, like up front.
I wonder if we do pursue this idea. We probably could also, because like we could post this as a meeting right on our Scituate town page, and then it could be maybe messaged out to the town if they're willing. It could even be mentioned on like that weekly update on YouTube. I don't know how many,
Yeah.
what the audience of that is, but I think that could help. I mean, I get the town emails. I know a lot of my friends do, so I think that could be a good reach as well.
Yeah. And if we do host it at the library, I wonder. Oh yeah, were you gonna say that? Maybe they could post.
In their bulletin or what have you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's always the town Facebook pages that we can post things on. Like, I mean, some of them aren't ideal forums for discussion, but I mean, it's a way to invite people to events nonetheless.
No comment.
Need
Comments
to turn
off.
commenting off.
Yeah.
Comments off. We invite them to an event, no comments.
Yeah, if you have a comment, we look forward to seeing you in person.
Yeah.
I think if we do go this route, I think if we end up getting a following, and I may be getting ahead of myself, like people do show up, it would be interesting to ask, have you heard of the DEI committee before this, or is this your first time? Because if it's everyone's first time, then we know that there's a messaging that it's just not getting out there, and then we can figure out how to improve that.
Yeah, we could have you all use like one of those apps like Slido where you like poll the audience. We can do that and then like put it up on the projector and we can. That could be a great way to get feedback too, because then people can write things in. So we could ask, that could be our first question. Have you heard of DEI committee before? Our second question could be like, do you have any idea, do you have ideas for DEI committee? And then people type it in and then it'll show up on the screen. So then we can see it and we can have conversation in real time. Cause I feel like you get more feedback that way because people are more likely to message it in than actually say it out loud if they feel like intimidated. So
yeah,
that's actually great. We could even at the end of the meeting be like, oh, if you want to participate or have any more feedback or want further conversation, like submit your email. So that way people that are really invested and passionate can like continue the conversation with us, and people that just want to show up for 1 hour and like say that they contributed something, then great. Like there's multiple ways to provide.
In this context, I would prefer it wasn't up on a screen because you never know what someone's going to type in.
Good point.
And the whole room is going to read it. And in this particularly contentious time, I don't think that's something we want to open ourselves up to. But there's always the good old fashioned pen and paper method in which
Yeah,
we
but I'm
screen
security,
what we read
Natasha.
out loud.
There isn't going to be, unfortunately, I think we live in a time where there is no foolproof. Like if you do it on Zoom, you're going to have people. If you do it in person, you're going to have people.
Yeah, people could still stand up and say
Yeah.
something, and
Yeah.
sometimes you can shut that down a little quicker. But if it's up on the screen, like that, it's harder to
You should be
decipher.
able to screen that using the app, no? It's not like it automatically pops up.
The ones I've done it when I've like spoken to large groups at like conferences, I've used it and it pops up right away. But there probably are ways you can
Screen.
screen that. But I think that's a good point. We don't have to do like it could be more polling questions rather than free text. It could be multiple choice.
Yeah, I mean, we can also come up with a bunch of questions, see
Yeah.
if, like, I guess, gauge the audience of, like, what's most important or what's of interest or how they feel, them and their friends and family and so on.
Yeah.
I like the polling idea.
So we would want to walk out of this with, well, minimum two things, right? So one, awareness. Two, like it's like the concept of an idea jar. We
Yeah,
need ideas.
Yeah.
You know, I would like nothing more than to
people.
have a dozen like concrete things. I'll take three, but I'm saying a dozen concrete things that we could really sink our teeth into.
I think that's the primary
We don't always
objective.
have that.
And maybe
There's a
a
lot of stuff that
secondary.
we can't do, right? I mean, there's a lot of things that are just not in our charge that, and we're not shying away from the work, but there's certain things that, just do not fall under what we were formed to accomplish. Sorry, somebody else was trying to say
No, I was
something.
just gonna say, I think that sounds right as like our primary objective is like developing an idea jar. I don't know if this would be too much for us to take on, but like if we did get a handful of people come, if people do share their email address, could we just get started on some type of a listserv? Like, and it could be as simple as it's a monthly email that people have signed up for when they get like notifications of our meetings and like the minutes or something like that. It could
And
evolve over
that's
time.
one of the things that Shannon and I talked about was a distribution list,
Yeah.
something like that.
I'm,
And that
I'm
could be a
wondering
start.
if, because, like I sign up for the DEI email, and I'm wondering if we can get a list of the residents who have actually signed up for that, right? I mean, I
Yeah,
can check on that end. I don't know if that's confidential in any way. I don't know, but it would be interesting to see first of all, how many people who have signed up for that, and then again, who they are. But it'd be interesting to be able to communicate directly to them. But I can see what I can find out anyways.
indeed.
When would we want to do this?
Mm.
Well, let me ask one more question. So I'm thinking like venue as well, right? Did somebody throw out the library?
Yeah,
That would that's logical, right?
that makes the most sense, I think.
Okay.
That's just a nice neutral space that people go to a lot in town for meetings.
When do we want to do it?
So our February meeting date falls on February school break. So probably not February.
The 21st.
Maybe like our set March meeting date, which would be the 17th.
I am going to be out of the country
Oh, you.
That's
visiting
St.
my brother.
Patrick's Day too. I feel like here in Scituate, that's not a good day to have a meeting.
Agree.
Just gonna own
Not
that.
about DEI,
In my
probably.
7 years of living here, I have learned.
I think we should I like aiming for March though, maybe
Yeah.
not that week though.
Yeah.
Are you going to Ireland, Tom, to visit your daughter, perhaps? No.
Yes.
Yes.
And Scotland. We're going to hit a couple spots.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you in the country in any dates in
Actually,
March?
hang on. When am I going? Oh my God. Sorry. I'm looking at the wrong calendar. There's still a very good chance I'm going to be out of the country.
What
I do
about,
wonder if March is too soon. That leaves us one meeting to figure out
Yeah, I'm
all
gone.
the media type stuff to get people. Unless we want to avoid that and just do something at the library and post it on the town website.
I mean, it
Our,
doesn't have to coincide with our regularly scheduled meeting, right?
yeah, I was gonna say,
yeah,
because our April meeting is also school vacation week, so,
Yeah.
um,
So we could, of course, Israel, I hear you. I mean, is it too soon? I don't
No,
know.
I mean, it's kind of a question. I don't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a legitimate question. I don't know, maybe. Because I mean,
I
we
think
could
there's still work that
do,
has to be figured out, like how we're going to word
March is
it.
just hard for me in general. I've got a lot of travel. Could do like April 7th.
no, we can't do the 7th, says the priest who will have just gone through Holy Week.
Yes, you are absolutely correct. Easter is the 5th, right?
There's no way I will be in the mental space to do anything.
All good. All good. Can we do March 3rd? Is that because like the 10th, yeah, I don't, you guys don't need to hear on my travel schedule, but I'm gonna be gone for a good 2 or 3 weeks.
Are you gone for the 24th as well?
Yep.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just wondering to Israel's point, like if that was enough time on the
And the 31st is Holy Week.
is Holy Week, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I think we could make it happen. You know, we'd need to kind of divide up some of the work and just get it done. Um, I'm happy to take an action item from this, maybe work on drafting like the language for our messaging. Probably
I,
like those are the biggest, yeah, like probably the biggest to-dos are like drafting the language for the messaging, determining the venue. So we'd have to reach out to the library.
Can I nominate Carrie, Elena, and Israel because they were the most vocal?
Um,
yeah, that's
It's
fine.
an
I mean,
awesome idea. It really is. I mean, this is fantastic. I almost I almost dismissed everyone 23 minutes ago, and here we are. And like this is like one of the better ideas we've had in a long time. So this
And
is
we can
great.
loop Shannon in, right? Because she had thought of this. I know you two had discussed something similar. Is that right, Tom?
We discussed communication in
Okay.
general and like website stuff and distribution lists. We did not talk about an event or anything like that.
Can what are the rules again? Like for
There's
sub,
7 of us, so um
Only three.
three, three or less. So
do we have to have like a formal committee to kind of work this over? Or can we discuss it on like via email, figure everything out, and then bring it up at the next meeting?
yeah, I mean the rule is basically like if you have 4 people, having a meeting offsite and so forth, you've got to like take minutes, you've got to post it. There's all kinds of stuff like that that you need to do. If it's three, you can do whatever. You can meet as many times as you want.
So why don't we have an email chain, Carrie, me, you, and Shannon, and
yeah.
then we can sort of take it, figure everything out, and we can just take agenda items. I can try and figure out the social media slash advertising thing, figure out how to do it, um, and see how we can break down the target audience.
Yeah, that sounds good. Tom, can we
Um,
have like email coordination with 4 people? We just can't have a meeting, right?
Even email, I don't think you can do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You can send emails to everybody, but you're not supposed to reply all.
can you text in a group?
I mean, not full
Okay.
bore.
I wonder if we have two little groups, and one or two people are like overlap. So like they kind of we officially have two groups. So we've got the one just named, and then we have another one where maybe Shannon and I are looped in so that we can also
Yeah,
share our thoughts.
Okay. What was the date, Carrie, or that you just threw out?
March 3rd.
March 3rd was the date that's been thrown out.
Um, I guess I don't often look at the library calendar, so I'm just going to share my screen if that's okay. I looks like there is already an event at the library from 6 to 8 in the large conference room. Does anyone know?
Yeah.
Actually, what is I only know it
We
as the
wanna use the
mama's.
community room,
What is it,
the
Angela?
community room
That's that big room downstairs.
Yeah,
downstairs.
the
That's where
lodge,
Mama Steph performs. So that's what I know as. So then I guess that's open then, if I'm reading this correctly. Right?
Well,
Do you want
yeah,
to?
that 4:31 goes until when? Does it say?
Oh, that's 5:30.
5:30.
to
So
5:30.
we could do something from 6 to 8, 6 to
Okay.
7:30.
Well, that's good to know, right? Just so we're not
Yeah.
wasting. Yeah.
Elena, so yeah, let's do that. We'll start an email with um, Israel, Elena, and myself. Sounds like Israel, you'll look into social media. Elena, do you want to email the library and confirm?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And then I'll work on like ideas around messaging and
And then
language.
if you want to loop me in, I'm going to meet with Shannon
Okay.
anyways, right? Because I wanted to follow up with her and kind of like
But if we loop you in, that's four.
just one of you loop me in.
But I'll forward it. So it's just one.
And if we make a couple of mistakes, we'll ask for forgiveness.
Yeah. And then why don't we say our goal is that by our next meeting, which we need to decide when that's going to be since February break probably won't happen for most people.
Yeah, I'll be away then.
Our goal should be like this subcommittee, like we should have something to like share with this group so that we can approve and then we can just go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
In addition to, I can look into the library space. I can also maybe draft some like discussion questions to be used during the session. And when I say we, I mean like ChatGPT can help me. So if I'm being honest.
No, I think that's good.
Love it.
I can brainstorm that with you too, Elena, if that's helpful.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take a first stab and maybe send to you for some ideation.
Yeah.
You know. And then I do think we should not rule out using Slido. I do agree with Reverend Natasha not sharing it on the screen, but I think there are ways because I've used it in like quiz form or group brainstorming form. And I think the quiz form just as a way to collect ideas, not share ideas with the audience. You know what I mean? Just so we have that record.
Yeah, there's ways to suppress. I mean, I've been at conferences where, there's 1,000 people and I'm sure people are typing in some pretty crazy things.
Yeah.
And
So
I've
we
never
can look
seen
into that.
anything too crazy. Yeah.
So, Tom, are you going to post this as just a public meeting on the town site? Or is it a community committee meeting that's open to the public?
Aren't all our committee meetings technically open to the public?
They are, but when
They
you
are.
post it on a town, you post it as an agenda to our meeting?
Yeah, I
And
think
also
that's the way I would do it.
It's a public meeting, public event. So I think
Yeah.
it has to be a meeting, right? Since the full committee's there, and if we're going to discuss anything, or if we're just listening to the public, could it just be a public event?
The latter is probably better.
Yeah, and then we don't have to do minutes and all that.
Yeah.
It's
And
not,
people won't be on camera.
Well, if
They
we do the latter, does it have to be on camera?
Do we need a Zoom? Can it just
It's a
be
quick-
only in person?
if it's a public meeting, no, it could be solely in person and not on, camera and not
Yeah,
a
I mean,
doc-
your sister city holds events.
Yep, we do
You
events,
don't take minutes.
right. We have public events that we do. Versus our monthly meetings, which are open to the public and require the agenda to be posted and minutes to be posted after the fact.
I can talk to people on this end and see kind of let them opine on that, whether or not that's going to be problematic or not. But
Yeah,
I
because
think
we're
what,
not an
what we're
advisory
preferring
board.
is just to have a public meeting and not consider it a committee meeting. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a public event, not a,
Public event. Right. Okay. I'll find out and I'll let people know if there's any issue with that.
All right, sorry, I have to jump.
Okay.
We will
Thanks.
touch base.
Thanks, Israel. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
My I'm trying to figure out if we're gonna really zero in on March 3rd, and then February, the week of the 16th, the school vacation week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then in terms of all us getting together, to talk collectively about this in a meeting like this, um, we don't have a lot of options. Um, if
What
we go
about
the previous week, I can't do it. Like, the week
the
of February 9th, I'm like shot all week. I've got people in from London for work and I've got stuff going on every night.
what about the 24th?
You do the
So that's the
24th and
week
then,
prior, and then like as long as we, because I think if the subgroup gets their stuff going in the next week or two, we can send an email update to everyone. You just can't respond, right? So at least like we're
yeah,
providing a progress
yeah,
update. So it's not like, oh, we talked about this on the 20th and we're not talking about it again for a month, which would make me nervous if then we have an event the following week. Does that feel like reasonable? So if we meet again on the 24th and then we just aim to provide everyone an update, let's say like in 2 weeks, like I feel like we should have a bit of an update.
Yep.
okay,
So the 24th of February
yeah,
is when we'll have the update, the week prior to the event.
But that's when we'll have our meeting.
it'll be
This
this
meeting.
meeting,
Oh, okay. Our monthly meeting.
Oh, February meeting.
our monthly meeting, and we're pretty much just going to talk about this. So
Okay.
most likely,
It's tight.
yeah.
I think that's why I said we could provide an email update before the 24th.
Yeah, and look, if it's too much and we don't get there, we don't get there. We'll have to push it out. But I think it sounds like we're all in violent agreement that we should do something like this, right?
Oh, yeah, I think the idea is great. I know I have an event on March 1st for the Sister City project, so I'm going to be tied up with that. And I might be away for the week of February also.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if certain people can't make it, email updates again are fine. Um, we can have offline conversations as well. Whatever we need to do. And I think we all know what the quorum rules are, and we'll work around them as best as we can. So, but no, I think it's a great idea. So,
So, Tom, you were the organizer of that meeting. We all should have it on our calendar. So do you want to change that? We'll change it from the 17th to the 24th. Is that what you said?
yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. I had
No.
set up the meetings actually today, for the third Tuesday, and then I went and checked it, and I definitely screwed something up. So, when this meeting's over, I'll go and I'll fix it. But you'll see, I'll make sure that the 24th is our next scheduled meeting. Um, and then the rest of them, I gotta delete the whole series and start over. User error. So that website's a little tricky. So, okay. All right, cool. That's good stuff. Anybody else have anything else they would like to discuss? All right, lots of work ahead of us. Okay. I would like to call for the meeting to be adjourned. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Natasha. All right, calling the roll. Reverend Stewart,
Yes.
Ms. Dre,
Yes.
Ms. Galata,
Yes.
Ms. Sun,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. All right, it is 7:34. The meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody. I'm looking